So in the DC Extended Universe, we had Henry Cavill, Man of Steel, a Batman, a Wonder Woman.
Right.
Zack Snyder was kind of in charge of this thing, but so was Warner Bros, and they kind of messed it up.
Oh,
His movie that was eventually released was completely different from the
Right.
one that was released in theaters. Eventually,
Right,
they put it on, and it was like, oh, this is what it was supposed to be from Zack Snyder's vision.
Right.
But Warner Brothers and corporations took over it. It's like, hey, make it more like Marvel, guys. Make it more
Right.
like Marvel.
Right.
They're doing good.
Make it good. Do a good
yeah.
job.
But obviously, that broke the vision that Zack Snyder had, and so many other terrible things went on during the DC Extended Universe that had it rebooted a few times, different ways. Didn't really work out. But now we are saved by James
Maybe.
Gunn. James Gunn is here to reel it all back in, take control of now the DC universe, completely different from the DC Extended Universe.
Okay.
So
They've rebooted basically.
kind of, but
Kind of.
they don't want to commit to a full reboot. They're calling it a soft reboot. You know,
Interesting.
just in case they want to take some characters from the other one, because he also directed Suicide Squad, and there will be a character from there who's already in this new universe.
Okay.
So it's a soft reboot. They don't want to fully commit to a full reboot.
Darn. I wish
But-
they would.
Yeah, but they're playing it off as if this new Superman movie will be the reboot for the DCU, even though there's already a TV show on Max that is technically the start of the DC universe called
Right.
Peacemakers, which is also created by James Gunn. John Cena plays the main character, and there will be, I saw clips of it, some of them from that show are in the Superman movie. They're playing it as if the Superman movie is the new reboot, but it kind of isn't really the full start. I will believe that it is. I'll go to this movie and say, this is the new. One of the things that James Gunn is doing, some people like the way he's doing it with Superman. Some people don't like the way he's doing it. For
Right.
example, there's a dog in the movie.
I have seen
So-
the trailer. Yeah.
Yeah. So after watching the trailer and you knowing Superman, like, what do you think so far?
You know, for a soft reboot, it definitely seems like a hard reboot of Superman because just in the trailer alone, there's lots of differences, good or bad. I don't know. I'm not on that conversation, but there's the dog. Superman's bleeding. He's hurt. Definitely seems like a hard reboot to me.
Yeah. And there's this one clip in the trailers that really people are looking at. Oh, actually, there's a few. One of them was where Superman, there's a can of soup or something, and it gets thrown at the back of Superman's head, and Superman
Oh, right.
flinches.
Yeah.
And people are like, wait a second, Superman doesn't flinch. He's
Yeah.
Superman. So they changed it in the trailer. They made him not flinch. And then people were like, wait a second, he's supposed to flinch because it hurt him on the inside. So, it's not really working out for them when they're trying to please the internet.
Yeah. So what direction are they trying to go? Are they trying to go a hard Superman? Not hard, but a Superman where nothing gets to him. He's a strong man, or is it like one where he lets stuff like that affect him?
Well, I think they're trying to humanize Superman a little bit more. I think that's probably the right direction to go, even though some people are mad about it, like Superman should be super strong. So, for
Right.
example, as well in the trailers, when he uses his heat ray vision, there are markings around his eyes as if it's hurt him to do it.
Right. Gotcha.
And I actually think it's a good choice. I think grounding it, making it more relatable is going to be good overall for the universe in general, to have a character that you're going to have start weaker, and then if you want to build a universe off this person, it's better to have him a little bit weaker and have him grow in strength instead of just having him be have no flaws. And you can give Superman flaws in other ways, just with human things. But I think it'll be a greater choice if you're going to build the universe off this movie.
I kind of agree with you with going off of it for the universe. It'll be good for the universe. But if I look at Superman alone, like stand alone, I don't know if I like it. And this is the only time I've ever thought about this again. But I wrote a paper in high school about Superman in English class, I assume, where I talked about, was it good for Superman to be so perfect, And I argued in it that it was, because Superman is supposed to be perfect, out of reach, basically a symbol for us to reach to. And so if I look at Superman standalone in his own series, then I think it's good to keep him not perfect, but in that Superman close to perfect sense. When I do see your point when we look at it for a long-term view in terms of a universe building where this is going to take a while, you need to have something to work on. And so Superman can't just be perfect. So both make sense. Standalone, I'd prefer if he was perfect, like in his own 3-movie series. But in a universe sense, I think it's good to ground him more, like you said, make him a little more relatable.
Wow, I can't believe you wrote a paper on that. That's
Yeah.
so awesome.
That was literally high school, senior
Wow.
year, like
We need to read that paper.
like 5 years ago.
And James Gunn is also, when I think of James Gunn, I just think of him as the person who made Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right, me too.
I looked at his other movies. There's like a horror movie that he made a while ago, which also has a comedic spin on it. So it's interesting that they chose James Gunn to be the head of the DCU when his style seems to be very different from what the DC extended universe was trying to do. Because
Right.
back in the day they were trying to be completely opposite of what Marvel was doing. They're like, we are the serious version, guys. But I guess they've given up on that, and they're just like, James Gunn, save us. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I think after seeing all the trailers and seeing how it's going to be different, it does make me more inclined to watch the Superman movie, just because I think that they're taking risks and they're making choices. When you see something with his eyes burnt out like that on the sides, it's like that is a deliberate choice.
Right.
It's not just, even if it's the wrong or right choice, which is,
It's different.
this is sad that I'm saying this, but he's making a choice instead of just following the corporate side of things, or just like, this is the way it should be,
Right.
or we need to make as much content as possible. It's a
Yeah.
deliberate choice. And I feel like that redness around his eyes, hopefully, will be what the DCU will be like. Deliberate choices. We are putting this one out, then we're putting this one out. It connects here. Let's plan it out and be safe, but also take risks and not just make movies for money's sake. Make
Right.
movies for choice's sake. Yeah, I don't say that right, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. And it makes it more appealing as a fan. Like you're saying, you want to go see it because a choice was made versus a common trend with reboots and whatnot is just not a copy necessarily, but they don't take those risks. They're not taking an extra mile. And so it's not appealing because you're just going to go see the same thing. Kind of with How to Train Your Dragon, except How to Train Your Dragon did it right. So it can be done right as shown by How to Train Your Dragon. But if not, then it's a flop, right? When you make risks like these and fans know about them, they know about the choices, they're more willing to go see it. So even if it's bad, at least more people are going to go see it in the beginning.
And when I'm going to see this new Superman movie, I'm not really going, and maybe this is the sad part, I'm not really going to be going to see the Superman movie. I'm going to go see James Gunn's Superman movie.
Right. Yeah.
And it does kind of take away the magic a little bit. Instead of seeing the movie and I can drown out everything else that was behind it, it's now become more about the face of James Gunn and
Right.
the thing that they're building, rather than, oh, it's a cool movie, cool universe.
Well, you're too old now, so that's why you see it that way. Because I mean, a 15-year-old kid is going to go see this as, or maybe a little younger, but going to go see this as their first Superman movie. This is Superman to them. They'll probably have the same thoughts when the next Superman comes out in 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because when I think Superman, for some reason, I think Man of Steel, which I loved. But when I watched it, I was like, it came out 2013. So that's 10, 12 years ago. So I was like 11. So that's my Superman.
That's the Superman for a lot of people. It's funny as well because people will talk about the comics and say, like, that's not how it was in the comics. But there's so many endless comics.
Yeah.
That is how it is in the comics, because there's so many different stories.
You can find one comic that applies.
Exactly. And it might not be the one that's the most mainstream, but I feel like that's the point, right? It's characters that we all know, and you are doing your spin on it. And so there is a bit of magic in that as well, even though it might not be the one for everyone.
Right.
It is a person making choices for this new character.
It looks like, I was just looking up James Gunn directing what future movies, and it looks like he's going to be doing a Supergirl as well next year. So I don't know. Curious to get your thoughts on that. I don't think they've ever done a Supergirl movie for it. Right. They've done, I know the TV show, I've watched some of that. There's a little bit of Supergirl in like the new Superman TV show. I don't know what it's called. Haven't watched that. But I don't know. Curious to get your thoughts on that. Like a new iteration, a new character really into this universe.
Well, I think it's a good choice to do one right after the other
Right.
instead of waiting 10 years to do the Supergirl. I think it would actually be beneficial to have them both early on and build it. It will help build the universe better.
Right.
You know, instead of later on we have Supergirl because we ran out of ideas from Superman.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. It doesn't seem like just I want money movie, although it probably is partly that. But also the Superman trailer, tell me if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I watched it. But there's other like super people. So I wonder if Supergirl is introduced there. I would guess she is. But yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're gonna do an end credit scene.
Yeah.
They got a lot of superheroes. They got Hawk Girl.
Oh yeah, I saw that in the cast. I was confused on what that means, but
She got wings. She's like a hawk.
yeah. Oh yeah, there's a Green Lantern as well, and Supergirl. Yep, all cast in there.
It seems like they're trying to do a lot early on. I wonder if it'll pan out.
Yeah, I hope so. DCU has been a disappointment compared to the MCU. And I do love the characters of DCU. I think they're unique and fun to me. I just like them. So I hope it does well because I would love to see those characters have justice to their characters, you know, something that represents them well.
Yeah, and it's good that they're also taking kind of obscure characters. So that way we don't have it all wrapped up in our minds of the way that it should be. That's good as well. Even though it's lots of different random characters, you know, clean slate in our minds.
Right. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say I'm excited to go see it, but I'm not dreading it. So we will reconvene when we see it.
All right. Well, let us know in the comments if you're going to go see the movie and if you like the way that James Gunn is doing things or if you don't like the way James Gunn is doing things. Let us know in the comments.
And we will see y'all later.